get someone to do the math, so I know it's right.
I already got it.
But I can't take my pension until 65 anyway. So. And then they only let you make to 22,000 a year, or they take half of that. But anyway,
Well, we made sure that we didn't have a lot of liabilities.
that's the way to go, and that's what I'm trying to shore up
I mean,
right now.
you know, when I built this place here, I mean, we paid cash for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I took a lot of it out of investments and stuff because it wasn't making any money there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have no mortgage,
Debt free is a beautiful thing.
pay the insurance, the heat, the lights.
Right.
Yeah. I'll get there, we'll see.
Yep.
Die trying. Any luck?
Oh, they loaded Microsoft Office and I can't find it. You guys can start if you want. I'll handwrite the minutes and then figure it out, I guess. It's just annoying me. It's just annoying me.
All right, well, I'm gonna call the Albany Selectmen's meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under new business, approval of the April 20th, 2024 Selectmen's meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the April 24th, 2024 consent file. Review and sign manifest in the amount of $1,835.71 and $9,095.55. This includes an accounts payable and payroll manifest for 4/17 and 4/24/2024. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Review and discuss and approve or deny the request for charitable exemption under RSA 72:23-V for Mount Washington Valley Habitat for Humanity. Do I have I'll make a motion to discuss.
Second.
So there's a lot of paperwork involved with this.
Yeah.
And it should be cut and dry on the first page where it says owned, used, and occupied.
Well, this first page is from last year.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they owned it last year, but they did not use or occupy or use it last year. This year, an argument can be made for their occupying it because their sign is there and their trailers are there and they've done perk tests. It's whether they're actually utilizing it for their mission statement, because that's a big part of this, is that, you know, you have to use it for your mission. So I think the reason I gave you this stuff from last year is because Jason discusses the fact that it's all in current use, and even if some of it qualified for charitable use, let's say there was one house built on it, that might qualify for their mission statement, but the rest of it might not, and that they would be, the onus is on them to present a map telling us what part they believe qualifies for the charitable exemption. So basically, Jason's email on this, I think I included that as well. He asked that we hold off on making a decision on this one until he can get some more information on how habitat should be treated in this case, because they meet the own and occupy, but not, and there's also been litigation. So Ossipee Mountain Habitat sued the town of Wolfboro, and for some of the same things that we're gonna argue about, and they lost.
Yeah. Yes.
I would move to amend your motion to table this until we hear back more information from Jason
I would second.
and also possibly town attorney.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Review, this is D, review, discuss, and approve or deny the request for charitable exemption under RSA 72:23-V for Lakes Region Conservation Trust.
I would make a motion to deny this.
I'll second it.
I call that to a vote. All in favor of denying this?
Aye.
Aye.
E, review, discuss, and approve or deny a request for a waiver of traffic violation.
I got a little bit more.
I would move to deny that.
I second it.
Can we discuss? Please.
Well, after you move in second, you have discussion.
Right. It was moving fast there. Do we have a letter from the sheriff's deputy?
We do
explaining-
not, and he, for some reason, didn't have a picture of this one. But he stopped and said, you know, he did tell me it's at Lower Falls and so the guy says here that,
There were other cars parked there. Yeah.
wrong lead with the other cars parked there. 6 people got tickets that day. And
Well,
the
that's what I
other-
wanted to know.
the
Did
other
they all
five-
get them?
They all got them and the other 5 have paid.
Okay.
No
All right.
questions, no argument, just, no nasty notes even, just
Okay.
sent me a check, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. F, review and discuss the draft financial statement for 2023 from the town auditors.
So I don't need a motion on this, I just wanted you guys to see this before I ask them to finalize.
Looks pretty standard.
Yeah.
I think things are in good shape. I think the takeaway here might be the fund balances. If you notice, and it was on the MS 535 that we looked at a while ago. But if you look at the fund balances, I think I would have had that page marked, don't you? Our fund balance went up about $300,000, so, and that is why you use so much of December 31st fund balance against warrant articles and the operating budget this year, so.
All right, now this is the fund balance at the end of 2023, correct?
Yes,
And how much of it did we use at town meeting for warrant articles? So what is our, in other words, what is our current fund balance?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my
Well,
head.
I'm just curious,
We probably used,
so that's the only question I had.
yeah, I can tell you that for the next meeting. The fund balance is on page 5. There's non-spendable, committed, assigned, and unassigned. And we're at 774,000.
Right. I just printed the pages.
The important pages. Yeah, so, I mean, unless you guys have something that you question or is disturbing, I'm gonna have him go ahead and finalize these documents and.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
Yeah. No.
And
And
like
I
I
will
said,
get it.
all I would be interested in is what's our current fund balance. And I know that's a magical number.
Well, no, our current fund balance is the 774,000 because, but it's been committed to the warrant, probably 200,000 of it, so. But I'll get that number for you, the exact number.
Okay, moving on to G. review, discuss, and appoint Amelia Torres as an alternate to the planning board on the planning board's recommendation.
I would move to appoint Amelia.
I second.
All in favor?
And just in
Oh.
discussion,
Yep.
I had about a 30-minute discussion with her at voting day about her interest in getting involved in
She's
the
doctoring, good job. That's
I
great.
understand she
Yeah.
attended the meeting Monday
Yep.
night.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she mentioned she had spoke with
Yeah,
you.
no, she seems like a very nice
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
Is the
She
board
read the
full?
master plan, she's really
Really?
looked into it, she's excited about being involved. And
Oh, yeah, she was real
Yeah.
excited. I tried to get her to be selectman, but she didn't want to start that high up.
Yeah, she seemed like a little nervous stepping in and, being an alternate was a good,
Oh, yeah, no,
good
that's a
start for
great
her.
place
so,
to start. I mean, director toward the municipal association to attend some of their planning and zoning
Yeah.
stuff. Because they've got, I think it's May 11th, they have an online webinar. It's an all-day
Yeah.
Saturday on planning and zoning.
They also have lunch ones, I think, monthly
Yep.
for people who work, because they know a lot of planning and zoning board members
Yeah.
work, so they can take an hour and watch a video,
Right,
and I can't remember, they call it something, but it's like an hour, hour webinar
Yeah.
once a month on various land use things.
she was looking for direction on, because she had a page of 100 links for education on it, and she was a little overwhelmed with
Yeah,
that.
NHMA is the place to go, and those webinars get run through them, and Sean gets updated on that
Yeah.
on the planning board website. But if she has questions or something, she can come to me too,
Yeah.
because I get copied on all of it as
Right.
well.
Yeah, I sent her one on that May 11th
Yeah,
to Sean, so Sean knows about it.
So is the board full now?
It would be if Brian Bailey got sworn in. We've been waiting since September of
He did get sworn in?
2023. No,
not yet, no.
not yet.
right.
That's good. We got people.
We need to move on.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Now that gets signed by the town clerk, right, not the
It
bottom?
gets signed by you, you three at the top,
Yeah,
and then when she signs, when she's in
Well,
the.
it's hers and then,
Whoever gives her the oath signs the bottom.
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha. Review, discuss, approve or deny, and set a rate for the use of the town hall facility for the Robert Frost Public Charter School.
So they're gonna have a formal dinner dance. Isn't that cute? It's like a prom.
Yeah,
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
For this, my question is, are they in Albany?
No, they're in Conway.
That's what I thought.
They're in,
The only question I had is, are they using it in the kitchen or not?
Yeah, that's not on the form, is it? It's not like
Yeah, it is.
is it?
It's on
Well,
the
see.
second page.
Says no drinking, no professional
But
catering.
no, they didn't note whether they were in
Right, yeah.
the kitchen.
no, they didn't even send this page back with it. I had to reprint it, the second page. But they do say formal dinner dance for our middle and high school students. And then at the bottom where it says, do you charge a fee? They says yes, only to cover the cost of the meal. So I don't know if they're catering it and using the kitchen or they're actually cooking it here, but there is gonna be, there'll obviously be kitchen use and there'll be trash that they have to remove because it's food trash. So my feeling on this is yes, they're using the kitchen as well.
So category 2.
That's what I think.
I would say category 2, yep.
Yeah.
Have they used it in the past?
I think they used to before COVID, not since I've been here 4 years, not since I've been here.
No, they've never, when I was selectman, they've never had it.
I don't know how long they've been around either.
They moved.
Did they?
They've been around for a while. They
Yeah.
used to be down further into Conway,
Right.
and now they moved up to the church, the old church.
That's what somebody told me, they were in an old church.
Call it to a vote. All in
I
favor?
would
I'm
make,
sorry.
I would make a motion to amend your motion, to indicate category 2 for cost.
Somebody has to second the amendment.
So, we're going to charge the 150 plus the deposit.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're charging a fee. I mean, it might be
Yeah.
just for the food, but it's a fee. So,
I'm gonna second Rick's motion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Now the main motion, you have to, that was to amend the main motion.
So,
We have to vote on the
the,
amended main motion though.
do you need you to
Well, I make a motion to approve the
no,
amendment.
that's already
No, we just have to vote on the
main motion.
main motion.
Call the main motion to order.
Right,
to
right.
vote.
Call it the
all in
vote.
favor to the main motion
Amended, as amended.
as amended?
Aye.
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 We'll keep you straight.
Please do, that's what you're here for. Okay.
I have to do it for the broadband committee, board meetings.
Well, that's why you're good at it. Town administrators report.
So, let's see. So, we had the emergency operations plan that's due for updating this year. We talked about the three choices last meeting. I just happened to have met with our representatives from Homeland Security and Emergency Management in the interim. And you guys had asked me if it will have any impact on us if we put it off for another year. And the potential is yes. It would hold up any emergency funding. We wouldn't get our emergency funding, even if we qualify through FEMA, until we start work on it and at least have it in the works. It doesn't have to be done, because obviously it can take upwards of 2 years to get it through the whole thing. But we would have to prove that we had started work on it, and also any grants that run through HSEM. So, that being said, I think that we hire, I mean, I know it's $3,500, but I think we hire MAPS and at least start working on it. They're not even available until July, so we might not even get billed the whole $3,500 in 2024, and if there's balance left in 2025, then we can appropriate it.
Isn't there something in parentheses in one of those paragraphs that she sent back for $2,400?
Yeah, option one, fully
That's
reimbursed.
option
So
three.
yeah, it's 2,400 using option 3.
Yeah.
The other reason I like it isn't just, you know, the money part, but also the less meetings, because, you know, I think I said at the end of the hazard mitigation plan, I think the last 2 meetings, I was the only one that participated, and 7 meetings is a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, people come to the ones the U.S. Forest Service participated in 1 or 2, Curtis participated in 1 or 2. Like, everybody took an interest in logging in
On the second one.
well, yeah, and giving their
Yeah,
opinion,
so.
but 7 meetings, 8
Well, the last
meetings.
one I was involved in, I think the only ones that went to every meeting was myself and Steve Solomon.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very invasive. So I think that option 3 for $2,400 is the way to go. And then, and again, we don't get it. It may not even all get done this year, depending on how
Now,
busy they
if
are.
we started doing that, can we apply for a grant?
No. If you want to apply for the grant, that's option 1, and we can apply for the grant, but then it isn't in the works, and if we have an emergency, we're kind of SOL until we start working on it. Because we probably wouldn't hear,
I would say 3.
Do we have money put aside for that already?
no, but $2,400,
Yeah.
you know. Besides the land use stuff we've got going on, we'd have $2,400 in legal. We don't usually spend that right to the bone. And we could always log it under emergency management and just let that line go over.
We also have a town meeting that we have to have.
Yes, but that special town meeting, I didn't put it on the agenda yet, but that special town meeting to fix the defect in the warrant is only for that. You can't pig pile stuff on. So I don't know if
We could have two
Well,
town meetings on the same date.
we could,
You could,
we could.
for specific
But I-
items.
Yeah, you have to say what they are
Yeah.
too, so we should have another conversation about that, cause I wanna do that sooner rather than later, because I'm worried that the September primary might get moved up into July or August if another state decides they're gonna mess around with us again, so we can't interfere with that, so, I do need to talk to the town attorney about a warrant for that, if we're gonna do potentially the town admin money maybe, and,
Well, I mean, we've got a couple of things on the table that we're thinking on.
yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't have a special town meeting for $2,400.
no, I wouldn't either, but where
But
we're
if,
gathering people to
Right.
do it,
right,
okay, all it's gonna take is an extra notice.
right.
Everybody's gonna be here anyways.
We don't have to do a warrant, but now I'll have to do a warrant, but it's gonna be a warrant with 2 things on it, or 3
Right,
things on it, so.
Exactly.
So you need a motion for that? To accept, to go with?
No, I mean, you guys are all in
Yeah.
agreement of that, and I will call her. She doesn't wanna
Well,
hear from me.
it's spending money.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion
We
to
should make a
Okay.
motion, because we're
Go with
spending money.
option 3.
Second
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
it. All right.
So the next item is just the expenditure reports. I put in here. They were March 31st, 2024, but they're actually April 30th. Because I've paid everything for April, so we look like we're in pretty good shape. I also have provided these to the town clerk and the road agent so they can see where their budgets are. We're probably gonna overexpend election and registration. Just because if we have a special town meeting, the moderator gets paid, the supervisors get paid, but it's, again, not huge money. And then the third thing I added, I don't know if it's on your agendas or not, but is, the review and discuss condemning 16 Bear Road. So,
Should we do that non-public, or?
I don't know why you would, because it doesn't
Okay.
affect the reputation of anybody, because nobody's living there. It's, we're only
Yeah.
discussing the property.
Yeah.
But since we were asked to take a look at it, there's been some video and there's some still photos that I provided. The health officer hasn't had a chance to go out and physically look at it, but he has seen the video and the photos, and he sent an email stating that he, based on the photos, he would condemn it, at least until it's
That's his
cleaned up.
recommendation.
Yeah, was to condemn it and until it's cleaned up and compliant. And we can, I mean, the owner isn't living there anymore, and it was a squatting situation, and that's how we became aware of it from the sheriff's department. So honestly, the owner doesn't mind it being condemned, and we'll notify him and, you know, tell him that he has to be in touch with the health officer.
I would make a motion to condemn the property and authorize the code, was he the health officer?
Yes.
Dave?
Yeah.
To post it, and do we have to secure it?
I would strongly recommend having,
Well, I'm thinking liability for
secured.
the town, I mean,
yeah,
Well, I also, we don't own the property, so can we legally,
if we're condemning it, I think we can at least secure it.
that's what I wanna, that's my question. I'm sure we can, but it has to be condemned first.
yeah, but your vote is condemnation, and then it just has to be properly secured and noticed, which they put, usually Dave Pandora would put a big red thing on the front door, the front window.
Okay. I'll second your motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And that's all I had.
We have no appointments today. Old business. New Hampshire DOT project 29597. I'm not available the last week of June or the first week of July.
So he's wanting to start to plan for the second or third, God bless you, second or third week in June. I don't know if he still feels like that. He goes on to say he's in a tough spot staff-wise, so I don't know. Because what he wants to do is what he did last time and piggyback onto what we did was we met for our first half hour, got all your consent file and signature stuff out of the way, and then rolled right into the big room for their public hearing. So your meetings would be the 12th and the 26th of June. We could shoot for the 12th of June.
Yeah, I'm going away, and I'm not sure the date, but I know I'm gone the 4th of July, so that week maybe, let's see. No, maybe, the third week would be all right, I guess.
Well,
Up
that's
to
the
third
second week, that's June.
Yeah, the second week would be great, we're not meeting the third week. The fourth week would be no good.
And you're gonna be gone that week.
Yeah, I'll be
Well,
gone
Jim can run, Jim is the vice chair, we can run, if he's here, we can run a short meeting just to sign stuff.
Yeah, but not the traffic.
No. Do you wanna try to shoot for the June 12th?
Yeah.
And are you okay with, starting your meeting at 4:30 and then starting their public hearing at 5?
Just like before,
I think what they did too, didn't he come in and do like 10 minutes of what he was gonna go over in there?
I think he did.
So they might not start their meeting till like 5:15 or something.
Yeah.
We start our meeting, okay.
Thank you for that. Last time worked very well, however we did it, so.
Yeah, and I
He
think
would
it's
know.
it's better to start a little earlier because he said this one would be a little longer. What's he saying? An hour, at least an hour and a half. And I think that meeting went way longer than that. I think you were here till 8:30 or 9 o'clock, because you let me go home. That's how late it was
that's
getting to be.
right.
Kathy sent me home. Because it's not our public hearing. I don't take any
No.
minutes of that. It's their public hearing.
Right.
So after your meeting, I just went in and
Now,
did
this
my.
is on the project in the 10-year plan?
Yes. 10, 12, 14.
And if he can't do June 12th, then I will put him off until we figure out when you're back and what
Yeah.
has to be done.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Planning board. What's going on in the planning board?
Well, they didn't have a lot going on. They had, property boundary adjustment that got tabled till later on. Amelia, we talked about,
Yeah.
and that was really all that was going on.
Go ahead, Rick.
When I was on the planning board last, we didn't have any 15-minute meetings.
That might say something right there.
And we also had 2 meetings a month. One was a workshop, and we always were looking at, site plan review, subdivision regulations, and that little clause in there that Josh brought to our attention on cluster, whatever they call it there, and whatnot. And the master plan hasn't been looked at in 10, 12 years. Because the master plan, I think last done was 2014, if I'm not mistaken. I would recommend that you encourage the planning board chair to start putting that on your agenda, to look at these, and also the zoning ordinances. When I was on there, every year we looked at the zoning ordinances to see if something had to be updated. Because you have to go to town meeting, and it has to be on the warrant, and it's on the ballot
Right.
type of thing. And that hasn't been done in a long time. So my recommendation would be to get the planning board chair to put some of this stuff on the agenda, and you folks start looking at it. I mean, I don't recall any planning board meeting being less than 2 hours long.
Yeah,
Well-
the planning board has an earlier date for deadlines for warrant stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have public hearings, I think in August or September. It has to be finalized by November, just
Yeah,
like,
oh,
it's,
yeah,
it's a
no.
much earlier deadline for anything for zoning, like, and like Rick says, Sean mentioned to me that there's something that needs to be corrected, cause he thinks it was more like a typographical error.
Well, that's the one I just mentioned to Jim.
But to
and-
do that, you'll have to have a public, and that, like I said, is a much more moved up timeline for getting on.
Well,
the
the
warrant for-
subdivision and, site plan, I think, can be done with the vote of the planning board. I don't think that has to go to the.
No, but changing the zoning ordinance,
The
even
ordinance
correcting it.
itself, yes,
Um,
even typos. and
But as
stuff
long
like
as you're looking at the zoning ordinance, you should look at the whole thing,
Yeah.
because it might not that might not be the only typo. That just came to your attention because of the habitat application, but there might be other things in it that,
And
should
when
be
we did the
scrutinized.
master plan in 2014, if I recall, it took quite a while to do, because we were doing the whole thing. And you were around, I think, back at that time.
That was,
No, 2014? In any event, what my recommendation would be, instead of trying to do the whole master plan all at once,
yeah, I was, yeah, you're right, yeah.
why not start doing one section of it every year?
Right.
and you can
take
get
some-
NCC to come down and help
And
you
you
with
can get
that.
North Country Council to come down and help you with that. So there is assistance and whatnot available.
I'd hate to stress the planning board with too much, just because we have a full board all of a sudden, and if it becomes a job.
I know, but these can turn into
What I-
liabilities.
Maybe they can just set an hour a week, do your 15 minutes, and then hit something. And
Yeah,
if it
I'm
runs
just
over that, but
I'm just trying to.
and I
limit
can't
it.
tell them how to, and I would never tell them how to do their meetings, but,
We can't do that.
all right, so,
Okay, mine is recommendation or suggestion.
Well, the other piece of this is too, is that you might not wanna pig pile more work onto them, but there is a statute that says they have to meet once a month.
right.
And
Well,
canceling
they're aware of that
meetings,
now, so I think that for a while there, I don't think that they
yeah.
do that, so.
So, if you have a 15-minute meeting, you have a 15-minute meeting, but I think Rick's got a point of, there's some things that haven't been, like the master plan. When your master plan is 10 years out of date and you try to stand on that for zoning issues, you don't have much to stand on. It's supposed to be a living, breathing document
Yes.
Right.
and be updated periodically, and ours is 10 years out of date now, so it's time. And the planning board doesn't have to do it, they can get help doing it, but they would have to come to the Board of Selectmen for budgetary,
Right.
finance and stuff, so they have to at least start talking about it.
And it's a legal liability issue. If you watch the newspapers of other towns getting sued for this, that, or the other thing, is because most of them didn't have their, whether it be their zoning or site plan review or subdivision regulations up to date.
Right.
You would, I follow some of the legislation in Concord, and there had to have been probably 20 bills this year that dealt with zoning and planning. And it's always been one of my issues as a selectman. Our zoning board never meets unless they have to.
Right.
They should meet at least once a year. We can't tell them that they have to do it. It's not in our authority.
Right.
But certainly I always recommended it, just to
Yeah.
cover our ass.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to organize. We met and organized, a few weeks back. And by statute, they have to have a rules of procedure.
Right.
They never had one. So I took the one from, was it OPD? The Office of Planning and Development, that they recommended, and just changed it and added Albany and everywhere that we had to add it in, and that's up for a vote at the next time the zoning board meets, just so that we're up with state statutes.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, it's an important job that needs to get done.
Anything with the Conservation Commission?
No,
No.
nothing new.
Correspondence, review and discuss a letter from the town of Holderness Planning Board to consider a site plan and slopes review to install well pumps, building, water lines, and communication tower.
So this has a communications tower, so it's regional impact, so that's why we get
Right.
notified. It's
Yeah,
a
we
pinch
get 'em-
far away
We used
from
to
us.
get them from Conway and
Yeah.
other towns.
Um,
And there's nothing we can do about it. The only time we could question anything is if we went to the public hearing.
The only thing, and we have no public, so there's no public comment, but I do.
You still
want-
have your charter communications correspondence.
Oh, yeah.
It's on the
Forget
back,
that.
I think it's on the back.
No, it's on the front end.
Oh, is it?
B, review and discuss 2 notices of upcoming changes from Charter Communications. Getting a new channel. And-
Univision?
Yeah, and
Up
a new channel there. Channel 801, high def. Okay. Before we go, we have a non-public scheduled, but before we go into that, I wanted to just, I've been busy with some things, so I couldn't, I went to the site and I voted for the 471. Did anyone find out what happened today
Yep.
at the meeting? I knew you would, that's why I'm
Yep, in
asking.
fact, I sent her a thing, an email today after I found out, and she was gonna forward it to you.
For anyone
Um,
that's watching and wants to know, 471 is is being proposed by the state, or to the state, to give them a means to lower speed limits to 45. There's a lot of wording to it, I can't get into that, but we were given the opportunity to go online, and it was posted on our town website that anyone could do this, and I believe a lot of people did, because I told a lot of people. It was very simple, and that was great that we got that. So the meeting was today in Concord, and we're getting the outcome.
The outcome, Mr. Lambert, was it Bill Lambert?
Bill Lambert.
Yeah.
Bill Lambert testified, and took a lot of questions from people. I sent her a list of, you don't happen to have that handy, do you?
Nope.
I should have made a copy of it, but
Yeah.
she'll send it out to you. Basically, according to him, Albany was discussed at great length at the
That's what I
public
thought.
hearing, unlike the Senate public hearing. And he said the speed limit on Route 16 is 55 miles an hour. He also said that it is an unimproved highway. So it does qualify for this particular
Yeah.
thing. He did say that reducing speed limits don't make any difference.
Yeah.
And they get, I guess, documentation that
Mm.
backs that up. The only thing it does do is it gives law enforcement some additional tools to try to control traffic. But in order to control traffic, you have to have law enforcement out there writing tickets.
Right.
And that costs money, and little towns like Albany don't have police departments and don't have the types of budgets necessary to patrol a stretch of highway like this on a regular basis. But he did say there are grants available for speed enforcement from
Nice.
the Office of Highway Safety. And I would suggest that we contact Bill Lambert and find out how we get in touch with this
Okay.
Office of Speed Enforcement and see if we can't procure a grant to either hire additional services from the sheriff's department. I know they're taxed because
Yeah.
the last time I talked to Dominic, he told me that.
Yeah.
Or could we hire police from, say, Conway or surrounding towns to do duties like they do for construction and that sort of thing, to be able to do the same type of thing?
Well,
Those would
Tamworth has
be
a police department.
questions that I would throw out there. The result of the committee was a 10-10 vote. So it doesn't get a recommendation when it goes to the full house. It goes just as that.
Yeah.
Representative McAleer did testify
Good.
on our behalf,
Yeah.
and did a very good job.
Good.
Um,
Well, it's a step in the right direction.
and that's it.
That's a good step in the right direction. So it's not finalized by any means.
Well, no, it'll go to the full house, and I don't know when the full house gets to vote. I've been told possibly tomorrow or
See,
Thursday.
that's how that happens. You just don't know.
Yeah, sometimes they only send out the schedules the day of, or usually the day
Right.
before. I think they have to give the same 24-hour notice that we
I
are
think-
under 91A, okay, but it's a short notice.
I think our squeaking paid off a little bit. I think people took notice. We were recognized, and from
Well-
the emails I've been seeing and the people I've talked to,
There's a big process to go through to implement that.
that's all right.
And it has to get the governor's signature in order to be finalized. There is another bill, and I don't recall what the name of it is. I'm surprised that McAleer didn't
I saw
search that one out.
I think we researched that. I think we actually asked that, if that's what I'm thinking of, that it's,
It gives local
not
officials
for a
certain
state
times
highway,
a
though.
year. Well, that would be my question too, but it would be something that you should look into.
we did. I actually questioned them on that, and they said it's not for state highway, and being seasonal like that. I kind of, they said it's not an option.
But I think the grant thing would be the way to.
No, I agree.
I don't know if we can apply for a Department of Safety speed enforcement grant without a police department, because you have, generally, I know the way it's worked in the towns I've worked with that have police departments, the police department applies for it, and it's very particular about where you can do it and when you can do it and who you have to notify to do it, so. And the person holding the grant has to pay the officers, and I don't have any mechanism to pay police officers that have New Hampshire retirement and pay into the retirement system for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I will look into it and just see if it's something Dominic might have to apply for it on our behalf,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, I don't,
administer
it was just, this was just brought up
Yeah.
in the testimony and the questions and answers.
Well,
I sent her, if you wanna watch the,
I couldn't find it, so I would appreciate getting
well,
that.
I think it's 41 minutes into a 5.5 hour session
Something
is
like that.
when
Yeah,
they were.
it was,
But I gave her the URL for
okay.
Yeah.
it's on YouTube.
Yeah, please, thank you. All right, well, that's all good. Step in the right direction. Anyone else have anything? Well, with that, we're going to enter into a non-public under RSA 91-A:3, 2 as well, it is necessary. So we're gonna do
2C.
2C, there it is. Matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of the public body itself, unless such person requests an open meeting. We doing all three of these?
Yep.
Okay.
One at a time.
You gotta stay.
You gotta
We
go
gotta
in
state
and then
them.
go out.
Yeah, but I've
so-
stated them all now.
No, you don't. Oh, you can read them all out but you're not making motions on all three of them at the same time.
Okay, so we'll go in one at a time.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna read
Okay.
them out for the record so that people know what we're going in.
That's what my thought was.
Okay.
Is
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to go into a second non-public RSA 91-A:3, the hiring of any person as a public employee. And we're going into a third non-public C, RSA 91-A:32C, matters which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person other than a member of the public body itself, unless such person requests an open meeting. I make a motion to enter into non-public session A. Does that work? That works, right?
I'll second that.
Yeah. All in favor? We need a
No,
roll
we have
call
to
vote?
roll call.
Roll call vote.
It's a roll call vote.
Rick?
Aye.
Jim? Aye. Kevin? Aye.
Okay,
Do you wanna, before she cuts it off, do you wanna notice that the only thing we'll do when we come out of non-public sessions
Is
is
adjourned.
adjourn?
Yes,
That way, she doesn't have to stay
Right.
for the whole,
and then it's noticed.
the,
noticed.
huh?
Okay, thank you.